I'm gonna start filming him now.
Alright folks, so welcome. I hope everyone had a beautiful, restful, rejuvenating weekend. At this time, please make sure your cell phones are turned off or at a silent mode.
You're good. I think it wants a break while we got full speaking.
Any questions before we begin? We have a long speaking list and we have a short amount of time, so I don't want to waste any more of your or my time. Let's give a round of applause to our first public speaker.
That's what I want to say. Alright. What stands, shakes, is damp, and could fall down? What stands, shakes, is damp, could fall down? You. Speech class students, right? Now, I'm not going to delve into 9/11, whether or not it was an inside job or not. Because I did see the towers get struck, you know what I'm saying, along with millions of others. But however, according to the mysterious collapse of World Trade Center 7, book by David Griffin, 43% of Americans are not aware that a third building collapsed that day. And to take that even further, I asked you guys about 2 weeks ago, who knows about World Trade Center 7? And about 5 hands went up. Alright, by the end of the presentation, you will know all there is to know about World Trade Center 7. To begin with, let me start with history, background of World Trade Center 7. This is how it started. The planes hit, exactly, right? The planes hit. But what happened was debris fell from the towers, from the original towers, onto World Trade Center 7, setting fire to the lower level areas. Now, according to Dr. Shaim Sunder, who led the NIST, which is National Institute of Standard Technology, investigation on World Trade Center 7, it collapsed from progressive fire, meaning it went from compartment to compartment. All right. At 5:20 p.m., September 11th, World Trade Center 7 fell. No fire had ever in history brought down a steel structure. However, the variable that was left was jet fuel. Jet fuel burns immensely hot. So that's where scientists went in the direction that jet fuel burned the steel, which brought down the building. That's how history remembers it. But others say, with the leading conspiracies out there, is that World Trade Center 7 was brought down by controlled demolition. Now, there are various prominent groups, doctors, lawyers, etc., that agree with this, that it was brought down by a controlled demolition, if you ever look at the video. But none of those guys are experts on it. Firefighters were there on scene that day. And one firefighter on a video that was released, and I quote, "The building started to come down as if it was a controlled demolition." Now, the other fact is that no other building in history was brought down by a fire. Chief Engineer Brian Cross says steel melts at 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. And according to World Aero data, jet fuel burns at 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. You do that. Now that we have background on World Trade Center 7, let's go into the different collapses. When the building catches fire, and it falls a certain way or it burns a certain way. Vincent Dunn, former Fire Department New York chief, says a fire spreads from one point, one origin, and spreads through cracks, holes, getting where it can. Now, if y'all can stand up for me real quick, stand up. Stand up, let's go, I don't get much time. All right, let's imagine we're all holding up a roof, and you start on fire, you start on fire, you start on fire, you start on fire, okay? Now you guys go down wherever I pointed out. So now you're holding up hers, you're holding up hers, you're holding up hers. And that's how the fire, it goes from compartment to compartment, taking down a beam, and then the weight cannot be held by the next beam, which is already on fire as well. That's how they say this came down. Everybody sit down. Now, with the controlled demolition, it also comes down a certain way. I'm giving you guys some exercise here, but stand up again. Now let's see with those same beams. You go, this row go down, this row go down, this row go down, that row go down, that row. That's how a controlled demolition works. With all the gravity and energy falling on top, disintegrating the rest that's on the bottom that didn't explode from the initial explosion. But so let's review what we went over today. First, we went over the. Oh, I didn't use my thing. First, we went over the history and what happened at World Trade Center 7. Then we went over the leading conspiracy surrounding it. And finally, I took you over how a fire affects a building and how a controlled demolition would affect the building. As I said, I'm not going to delve into whether or not 9/11 was an inside job. But however, I'll leave you with this. What stood, shook, was damp, and fell?